Hey guys, this is Gurinder here from Androidify, and in this video we're gonna implement activity lifecycle methods in Android Studio. So we're gonna start off with a new Android Studio project. I'm gonna click File, New Project, and I'm gonna name the application to activity lifecycle. Okay, I'm gonna hit Next, and I'm gonna leave the minimum API level to 15. I'm gonna hit Next. And I'm going to select empty activity, hit next, and hit finish. Once everything is set up, we are presented with main activity. As you can see that the onCreate method is already called. This is the first method that gets called in an activity, and it's only called once during the entire lifecycle. onCreate also sets the user interface of an activity by calling setContentView method. This method takes in a layout file as the input parameter. In this case, onCreateView sets this layout to the main activity. We're going to display a toast message on the screen that will tell us when each of these lifecycle methods are called. If you don't know what a toast message is, then it's basically a short message that mostly appears at the bottom center of the screen for a few seconds to let the user know that a certain action has occurred. To create a toast message, we are going to type toast.makeText, and this makeText method is going to take 3 input parameters. The first one is going to be the context, the second one is going to be the actual message that you want to display on the screen, and then the third one is going to be the duration, which could either be long or short. So I'm going to say for the context, I'm going to say get application context. And for the text that we want to display, I'm going to say onCreate is called. And for the duration, I'm going to say toast.length short. And then finally, we call .show method to actually show the toast on the screen. Next, we're going to create onStart method. This method starts the activity and the UI becomes visible to the user. Again, we will display a toast message by calling toast.makeText, and we're going to get the application context. Now for the message, I'm going to say onStart is called, and we are going to set the length of the message to be short. And finally, we're going to show this toast message. Next, we will call onResume, and we are going to display a toast message again. And now onResume occurs when the activity is up and running, and the user can actually interact with the activity in onResume. So we are going to get the application context, and for message, I'm going to say onResume is called. And now for the duration, I'm going to say toast.length short. And finally, I'm going to show this toast message. Now you might notice that all of these methods are void because they don't return us anything. Also, you must call the superclass constructor of each activity lifecycle method, because if you don't, then you will get an error here. So it says overriding method should call super.onResume. So I'm going to say super.onResume, and the error is gone. Next, we will create onPause method. So I'm going to say onPause. This method is where the activity is partially visible to the user, but the user cannot interact with it. It's also the first signal to the app that your activity might be destroyed. So I'm going to copy the toast message from onResume and paste it here just so we could save some time. Next, I'm going to call onStop. So I'm going to say stop and press enter. So onStop is when the user exits out of your app, that's when onStop is called, or when the user navigates to a different activity, onStop is called then as well, followed by onDestroy. Again, I'm going to paste the code from above, and next we are going to call onRestart. So when the user is in your app and he or she presses the home button to exit out of your app, then onPause and onStop are called. But your app is still running in the background and it's still in system memory. And if the user goes back to your app again, then onRestart gets called, followed by onStart, and finally onResume. So I'm going to paste the toast code here. And next we are finally going to call onDestroy. onDestroy is called when the user goes to a different activity within your app, or when your app is killed from the background. If there are any network transactions happening, then they are closed here. And if there are any system resources that your app is using, like RAM, then they are released here. Again, I'm going to copy and paste the toast message here. Now we are going to finally run this app on our phones. I'm going to hit OK. Let's go back up and change the toast message for onPause. I'm going to change from onResume is called to onPause is called. I'm going to do the same for onStop. Instead of onResume, I'm going to say onStop. And for onRestart, again, I'm going to say onRestart. And finally for onDestroy, instead of saying onResume, we want to say onDestroy is called. Now let's run this app on our phones. So I'm going to hit play here. And as you can see that onCreate gets called, then onStart gets called, then finally onResume is called, and our activity is currently in resumed state. Now if I press the home button, then onPause gets called, and onStop gets called, and if I go back to our app again, then onRestart is gonna get called, then onStart is called, and finally onResume is called. Now if I get rid of the app from the background, then onPause is called, onStop is called, and finally onDestroy is called. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to follow the written article over at androidify.com. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. The links will be in the description below. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I'm Green Dishing from Androidify, and I'm committed to helping you along the way.